Alright everybody, I'm back again for the second part of this. Now, the dough's risen all the way. It's up at the top of my bowl, so it's definitely done pretty good. Now all I gotta do is get this off of here. Always try to spray the top. That's what I forgot to do. I didn't spray the top of the dough before I put it in there, and it's stuck, but that's alright because you're gonna punch it down now. Take a little bit, let it fall, let it do its thing. It's nice and fluffy now. Kind of like me. Alright, now, take your dough, scrape it out of the bowl. Make sure you get it all, or as much as you can. Preferably all of it. There's going to be quite a bit here, which makes a lot. So, I'm pretty sure you can see it coming out. It's like a blob, which is a good thing. It's nice and light. And if you want them lighter, you can let it raise longer. It's up to you. Me, it don't matter. Either way. Alright, now, that's laying down there. What you want to do, get you some flour. Now comes the fun part. Get some flour. Sprinkle over the top of it a little bit. Now, take your rolling pin, 1/2 inch thick. It's really thin. Well, not real thin, but thin enough. Get the idea. Get you nice and rolled out here. And if you get it a little thinner, it doesn't matter that much, but you know, at least 1/2 inch. Try to make it nice and even. Having difficulties with this thing now. Oop. Well, that ain't supposed to happen. Alright, now, get it all nice and neat and rolled out. All that good stuff. Now, I'm supposed to use a donut cutter, but since I don't have one of them fancy doodads, what I'm going to do, use a little cup I got, cost me a whole $1 for 4 of them. Just cut them out. That's a little smaller than 1/2 inch, but they'll raise pretty good. It'll be alright. Like I said, I don't have all that fancy stuff, but it's still pretty easy to figure things out. Now when you get these all cut out, you're going to take something smaller, and like I said, I don't have a donut cutter, so what I'm going to use is this. And you know, if you get something pretty good size, you can take and use, what I'm using is 2 glasses. I'm using this little plastic one because it's got a nice sharp edge on it, and it doesn't really mash anything real bad. Then I have a shot glass for cutting the centers out. That's going to be your donut holes for later. This works really good, guys. So anybody that wants to go crazy and have fun, just whatever you want to do. And you can probably season these or flavor them however you want, or you can add color to them if you want to get creative and make them different colors or whatever, and it'll probably work to make like the long johns or the twists or whatever you want to do with them. However you want to do it, it's up to you. But you can do pretty much anything with them. There's nothing set saying that you got to do this certain thing just because somebody else does it. You cut all these out, and here in a minute I'll count them out and make sure how many's here, so that way you know about how many it'll make. Which I'll probably wind up with a few more because of the fact I'm doing it a little. I've got it rolled out a little bit thinner than they probably should be right now. But it'll be alright. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 28, and 30, 31. Well, if I counted right, there should be 31 here. Which, hopefully I did count right. Now you take something where you can keep them separated and let them raise again. Gently, after you're done with the centers, don't trip over my feet here. See, it's just a little shot, it's just a little small glass. Cut the middle out of each one. That's going to be a little bit too big. Probably. But don't worry, they should be alright. It just takes a little time, a little patience. Like I said, a lot of you that I know are bakers, so patience, you already know, is something you got to have doing this stuff, or it'll never work out. This is actually making more of a mess than I want it to because it's mashing them instead of actually cutting them out. Try to get something with a sharp edge on it. Every time you cut one or stick it in the dough or stick this into the dough, put flour back around the edges so that way it'll do what it's supposed to do without tearing your donuts up. And you just go around in a circle. And cut them out. And I'll recount them as I'm putting them on my little platter here that I got sitting there, so that way I know exactly how many's there, and you guys will know too. Just nice and easy, take your time. No big rush. They've already proved once, dough's already risen once, but it's going to have to rise again. Now, one thing you need to realize is when you're doing these, do not throw the cutouts in with your other donuts because they cook at a faster rate. And if you throw them in with your other donuts and wait for the big ones to float, your little donut holes are going to be burnt and they're going to be like chewing on a rock. I don't know about you or anybody else, but I don't like eating rocks. Kind of hurt my teeth. The leftover dough, you can take a little bit out. When your grease is nice and hot, drop you some of your extra dough in there. Make sure you got your temperatures right, so that way you don't burn your donuts. All right, now comes the interesting part. What we're going to do, take these gently as you can. 1, 2, 3, and they're not going to be the prettiest in the world because obviously I don't have a conveyor belt to just roll them out and cut them as they're rolling. But when they're done, it won't really matter because they hopefully won't last very long. Okay, 5, 6, 7. 8. Well, I'll get a hold of it. 8. 9. 10. Well, maybe. Yep. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. You're going to have donuts everywhere before it's all done. Alright. There's 14 in that plate. Which actually I want them 13 at a time because I want a baker's dozen. So, and you know what? Ooh. Alright. What I'm going to do is actually let them raise where they're at. I'm not going to get fancy with trying to take them all over the place again. I'm just going to let them sit and do what they got to do. Make sure you got a little bit of flour because as dough rises, it gets a little sticky sometimes. So make sure they're kind of set off to the side. And that way there also you can get a better count too. You can find out exactly what you got. Hopefully it's not a mess that you got. See everybody, shot glasses can be used for more than just drinking, which in my case is a good thing. All these little scraps you're going to save because you can actually put these back together and make other things with them. Some of the scraps are pretty good size because obviously you can't take something round and cut something round out of it and keep everything that close without a little bit of a mess. It's not really a mess, it's just space. You have enough space, do it on your kitchen table, do it wherever you want. Just understand that, eventually you will run out of room. Alright. And these need to rise again. Just like you do if you're making yeast bread. Making homemade bread. White bread, whatever you want to call it, however you want to say it. But it's all got to rise one more time. So you take all your little scraps and all your big scraps, pick them all up, put them all together, or try to, without dropping them on the floor like I just did. And like I said, you can put all this back together. A little bit of patience, a little bit of time, it'll fall right into place again. And you can probably roll it back out flat and get more, which there's quite a bit of dough here left. So, make sure you got all my little scraps here. Nope, missed a few. Okay, now we're going to set this off to the side for a second. This stuff just does not want to cooperate whenever you're trying to put it all back together. It doesn't like to cooperate. You can knead it a little bit to get it back together. You really don't want flaky donuts because that wouldn't look quite right. Set all your little donut holes off to the side. Good thing about doing this is you don't have to worry about it sticking to any kind of plastic wrap or anything else that you got covering anything else with. And here in a second, I will count and see what I've got. Alright, now, like I said, you want to let these raise again, but you should be able to tell when they're ready because they'll be puffed up probably to about an inch or a little bit more. And you just go from there with it. We can take this, roll it out again. Nice and even, try to. And you can cut more. Or you can save your scraps for test pieces. However you want to do it. One there. One there. We'll put one over here. And maybe one right there. Alright, there's 4 more. Cut them out. And in about another 45 minutes, these will be ready to put in to your hot oil, 350 degrees, and fry. But for now, let me see how many we've got here. Like I said, remember, do not put your donut holes in at the same time as your other, because they will burn. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Okay, we've got 37 donuts here, folks. For anybody, that's like a donut overload. So if you like donuts, this so far is turning out to be a pretty good recipe. And we shall see in a little while if it continues to be. Heat your oil, like I said, 350 degrees. You don't want to get much hotter than that because it will burn. When you're done with cutting them out, they should look something like that. And in about 45 more minutes, I will see y'all again.